So, honestly, I got like one thing on my mind, nothing really else. I don't really think about much lately at all. Truly. What is there to think about, really? God, and the one thing is Monster energy drink is superior. So, I used to like Red Bull better, but Monster just tastes better now. All of the Red Bull tastes like it's flat, like it's fucking flatlined in a hospital bed. Like a comatose patient who they just yanked the plug out of the fucking wall outlet. Ain't flatline, just like the fucking vocals right there on my thing. Just flat. Is it even carbonated anymore, Red Bull? Seriously. It doesn't taste like it, and it tastes like shit now. So that's really all I got to talk. I'm just going to talk about Monster and Rockstar. What are the other ones? They have a couple new ones. Of course they do. They have like 14 new energy drinks that don't have all the chemicals in it. It tastes like a sparkling water. And I'm just going to be honest about that. They're not good. It tastes like fucking like sparkling water, but with more juice in it. It doesn't taste like energy drink. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. I love the taste of the fucking chemicals, and let's see what do we have in here. Whatever, you get the idea. What else do I have on my mind? Have you guys ever tried have you ever tried the Gator Light? It's like Gatorade but with caffeine in it. How funny would it? I was just gonna go. Whatever. I do actually have a lot on my mind, but who wants to get bogged down by all that shit? You know what I mean? God, I don't want to think about it. I want drugs in my body so I don't have to feel and think about things. It's not like I'm afraid to think about my life or whatever, but it's a lot easier when you got some drugs in the system to really kind of suppress. Plus, it just feels so good to be high, it's just amazing. One time when I was smoking meth with some buddies of mine, my buddy held up this bag of nothing. There was really nothing in there at all. Maybe a little bit of powder. And I'm going to be honest, I got sad. I got really sad. And I thought to myself, what would be fucking amazing right now? If there was like a big rock in that bag. And he set the bag down on this fucking arcade game out in the garage. And, the bag was like crumpled up. So like, it was like folded kind of over each other. So you couldn't really see all the way through it. Like it wasn't just one layer of Ziploc. It was like multiple layers. Until you got to like the center of the bag. There it is. Oh no, that was, God. When you feel a burp coming and it doesn't come. I haven't had that problem with women. Well, I did one time with my ex. I actually didn't come. I couldn't come. Like at all. I was hard, but I just could not ejaculate. It was crazy. I also made her vagina bleed like, I don't know, like 8 times or something like that. Not bragging. Because I breached the wall. I pierced it. You know, like the back of the, yeah, whatever. She wasn't on her period because it happened like every week. Yeah. Anyways, I was talking about crystal meth. It's a you know, it's a good drug. It really, I'm not joking. It feels really good. And, you know, it's really not that bad. It gets a bad rap because most tweakers are just fucking like out of their minds. I don't know why that is. Honestly, I don't understand. All you have to do is shower consistently, and even then, it's like, I never really looked like a fucking tweaker. Ever. I mean, maybe I do because I'm skinny, but I've always been like this, so you can blame my fucking genetics, my goddamn Jew parents who looked like they spent half a decade in Auschwitz. So that's really not my fault. It's not. My grandpa looks like he spent 2 decades in Auschwitz. I'm not even kidding. I mean, the dude was really skinny. And I think he actually... No, not him, my great-grandpa. Yeah. This is where the coma dream shit gets real fucking murky. He was actually at Pearl Harbor when the Japs attacked Pearl Harbor. He actually gave me his dog tag. And you know, yeah, it's pretty, I don't even know, like there's no words to even, it's like a mind fuck. It's a mind rape. It's like melting your brain after it being raped. Like they cut a hole in your skull. Like, which is what they're going to do. Which is what Elon Musk company is going to do. Neuralink. They cut a hole in your skull and they put a little chip in there. And it can literally fix like blindness and paralysis. People who are paralyzed can no longer be paralyzed. Eventually, this will be happening because the AI robotic chip that they replace part of your skull with, it interacts with your brain and it's able to basically all the synapses and neurons that are not working, not firing and not connect, like parts of the brain that are not connecting or even brain dead. It literally like jump starts that and like fixes that part of the brain, which is pretty fucking mind-blowing. It's pretty cool. And he even said on Joe Rogan, he also said that if him and Joe, theoretically, if they had one of the Neuralink things in their skull, that they could just eventually, that the Neuralink AI would become so advanced that they could have a conversation without even speaking out loud. Telepathy. You know, communicating within side of their own thoughts and minds. I mean, this is I don't even, you know what I mean? Because people can already do that to me. You understand? All day, every day. People. It's been 10 months. You know what I mean? So what the fuck is the point of Neuralink? I mean, I'm serious. I swear to God, telepathy is real. It's very, very, very real. I know most of my family members, you know, that could be another thing too, but the old thought insertion idea. But, you know, when I think about it, no, it's not. It's definitely telepathy. I mean, I can't read anybody's mind or, you know, access their thoughts. Sometimes I can. Or at least, God, the fucking burps. At least I have noticed in the last month or two, like, I don't know if I touched on this in one of the earlier episodes, but basically, I think I did. Anyways, I'll talk about it again. And I'm going to get back to my other point about the meth. I didn't forget. Yeah, but in the last month, 2 months, 3 months at the most, I've realized, like, sometimes I'll just be sitting there talking with whoever, my friends, neighbors, my family members, which is not that often lately. Yeah. It's not because I don't love them. I hate them. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic I don't really want to get into. Or I'll be listening to a podcast or music or watching a TV show or playing video games. And whatever is being discussed or not being discussed, like sometimes it will just be silence and just out of nowhere. I'll get like this crazy idea or thought or concept or theory, but it's not like, it's kind of exactly how my brain works when I think about things. Like, I don't think about things like word for word, like drawn out, you know what I mean? Like when I'm talking, obviously I do, because I have to speak like that so people understand what the fuck I'm saying. But it would just be like this random thought or idea. I've noticed it, like sometimes when I'm usually using the internet or listening to something on the internet. At least that's what I noticed a while ago. It hasn't been happening that much lately. I think, well, I know that's because I noticed it. I could tell the difference between like my own thoughts and thoughts that were not mine, like ideas that were not mine. Because these ideas and these thoughts were so detailed and like very descriptive, but so brief at the same time, where it was like an entire paragraph, like multiple sentences of an idea in a split second, like that, just instantly. And it would almost, you know, half the time it would have nothing to do with what I was listening to, talking about, thinking about, what I was doing, what I had done earlier that day or earlier that week. Like sometimes it would have nothing to do with anything that I've ever done, thought about, watched, witnessed, heard, anything. You understand what I'm saying? So it would be like an entire theory or concept or suggestion about something that I was not currently thinking, that I had never even thought about before, ever. Never heard anybody talk about, never even, you know what I mean? Like, it would just be so random and instant, and that's kind of how my brain works. Like, I just thought about the past year in 2 seconds. So it's kind of like that. That's, it hasn't been happening that much lately because it was really heating up. Like I was getting every fucking 5 seconds, I would get sent these fucking thoughts or ideas for days. It's fucking my head up. This was a few weeks ago. And that's when I was like, whoa, dude. I was like, God damn. This was not my, when I came up with the idea for, and I know, what the fuck? He was supposed to do the journals. I'm sure so many people are really wondering about the journals. So many people. I'll do them when the fuck I want to do them. It's really, I'm like, it's just, whatever. And I still don't know if I should put them on Patreon or not. I don't know. Probably not. Or maybe I should. I think I should because there's some pretty, ideas that are mine, theories that are mine, concepts that are mine that I don't really want just out on YouTube. Personally, that's just me. But on the other hand, I also think, should everybody be able to access this without fucking paying for it? But then I'm like, what am I talking about, bro? The number one selling book in the world is the Bible. Jesus' book. God's book. God was Mr. Goody Two-Shoes or whatever, or most people's idea of what Jesus Christ's Father is or was. And he's charging motherfuckers to read that shit. Like $25. Come on, bro. You're God. You're Jesus Christ. Give it to them for free. That's what Jesus and God would do, right? I mean, am I wrong here? Why do they charge for the Bible? But you can get a free one at a hotel room. Which, you're paying whatever. You're paying for the hotel room. Who gives a shit? But that is weird. I've never really thought about that. I think I want to start a religion. I think I can, actually. And I also, back to the crystal meth thing. God, yap. Holy shit. I need Percocet and Xanax right now. So, yeah, he set the bag down of the powder, which was like nothing. There was almost no powder in there at all. And he just set it down there on the counter. And I thought to myself, it would be really fucking nice if there was a nice fucking shard in there. And I noticed that it was like cloudy in the bag. That was because it was folded over each other, you know what I mean? So like there were multiple layers of Ziploc, baggy, like folded over each other. So it was cloudy in the bag. And I'm like, that kind of looks like a, if I looked at that from a different angle, that kind of looks like a rock. And I just stared at it for like 2 minutes. And as the 2 minutes passed, the cloudy shape of a rock, a shard, got more, what's the word I'm looking for? Defined in its shape, and its, like I couldn't see through it anymore. By the end of the 2 minutes, there was a fucking rock in the bag. I swear to God, I'm not joking. This is not a bit. I stared at there wasn't a rock in there. There was no drugs in the bag. Except for the small amount of powder. I looked at the whole bag. He showed it in front of my face. The bag. He's like, this is all I got. And then he set it down on the counter. And he walked away. And my other buddy was nowhere near the bag at the time. I stared at the bag the entire 2 minutes. I didn't take my eyes off of it. I don't know what compelled me to do this at the time. I think because when I looked at the bag, I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like a rock. What the fuck? How did that get in there? Right after I had thought, oh man, it'd be nice if there was a rock in there. And he didn't like throw a rock in there afterwards, because he literally just set it down on the counter after he held it up to my face. And I was like, I don't even think I said anything. But this is, when telepathy was still going on. This was in September. Yep, September. I remember. So 6 months ago. 6 months ago. 180 days. And I think that my buddy actually, they can read my mind, At first, back in May, when I first started noticing it, and I would have noticed this shit before the car accident, if it was possible, if people were doing it, trust me. Before that car accident, not one single time in my entire life did I ever even get like the weird suspicion that telepathy was even possible. Not once. And I have always been extremely, I wouldn't even say paranoid, because I'm just like, or on edge. It's just like aware of my surroundings. And very aware of like how people in my life behave and their mannerisms and body language, the way they talk, you know what I mean? So like when people start responding to your thoughts and you can actually see them like you're having a conversation with them and they're like sitting there in their head, like waiting for their brain to process the end of my thought. And then they'll respond. You know, when you see that like hundreds of times, it's just kind of like another fucking day. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. There ain't nothing that I have been able to do up until this point, that's been able to stop it. Ever. Nothing. Not a thing. Even when I say that nobody can read my mind and access my thoughts because it's, you know, my dream. And in my dream, you know, I'd like to control at least a couple of things or do something dreamlike. Like load up a rock of meth in a baggie one time 6 months ago. One time. Don't, you know, trust me, the amount of times that I've tried since then is retarded. So you can see why a motherfucker's a little bit pissed off. Rightfully so. You all would be too. You understand? It's I really so yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy who showed the bag in front of my face just he knew what was going on in my head because he just walked over to the bag, grabbed the bag, ripped it, and there were actually a couple rocks in there after he grabbed it. And I watched him grab it. He didn't put any more rocks in there. You know what I mean? So in a matter of 130 seconds, there was like a gram of fucking meth in there. Just like that. It's like magic. Like that, I swear to God, this happened. I remember it so vividly. And then he just threw it in the fucking bub and we smoked. You know what I mean? Because what the fuck else are we going to do? Stare at it all day? He knew what was going on. That's why he walked over to the bag right after I fucking loaded up a bag, like a fucking rock, with my mind. It took 130 seconds. It was so fucking fast. Just like that, man. It is fucking... Yeah, it's cool. I get it. I mean, I know most people are probably like, oh my God, this guy is probably just in like the middle of a psychotic break, right? He's in psychosis or he's a schizophrenic or both. No. If you know me, and especially if you've seen me or spent some time with me in person in the last 10 months or 2 years, you know I'm right. You just know I'm right. Or even on the phone, you know I'm right. So don't even lie to yourself. So you know what would be really nice right now? Is if the fucking voice in my head that keeps yammering on all day, every day, every second of every day, everywhere I go, even in the middle of the fucking ocean, on a cruise ship, all day, every day. I came up with this idea. This is where the journals I'll be going through some of this again. I just had a brain melt. But I don't give a shit. I'm so fucking goddamn sick and tired of the internet and anybody or anything telling me what the fuck to do. When I can't even fucking dream in my own dream world. What the fuck I want. Yeah, I made a rock show up in a bag one time 6 months ago. That's a dream? Get the fuck out of here, man. It's bullshit. And I just implore anybody who's listening to try to this seems to be like a rare occurrence out in the world, I've noticed lately, because people are kind of fucking selfish and they don't really I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect at all. I'm not. And I can definitely be selfish as fuck. And I am a lot of times. But I also think about other people, and I try to put myself in their shoes. At least, for a split second. Just try to imagine, and I'll start reading the journals here shortly, all right? So then you can get the full story and understand the reason I am the way I am, I guess, or whatever, This is why I'm so upset about things and why I just, yeah, I mean, I'm honestly at the point where I have a lot of fucking ideas and solutions and because I love thinking about shit. I always have. And I love, I don't know a better word other than theorizing, which I don't even know what that term really means. Can somebody look it up for me and let me know in the comment section? I'm going to Google it right now. Anyways, I know this. Oh, Hayden, be more funny. Yeah, man, you know what? It's a goddamn miracle that I still have somewhat of a sense of humor. After all this shit. And if anybody knows anything about any of my parents, either of them, they really can't take a fucking joke for the most. I mean, my mom can if she's smoking some weed or drinking. Same, kind of same with my dad if he's a little bit drunk. And he has a really weird sense of humor sometimes. It's very rare. And he barely talks. If you try to have a conversation with this man, sometimes if I respond verbally, he'll sit there for 5 minutes and not say anything. Just silence. Just sitting there. Neither of us will say anything. Which is, I guess that's maybe that's normal. But he would mostly do it when I was living there as a kid. And I mean, I was still a kid at the time, but when I was 16, I'd be in the basement watching TV or gaming, and he would always come downstairs and say goodnight to me. Love you, good night. And probably half the time he would come, maybe not half, who gives a shit. He would like sit down and like sit there with me because he wanted to talk about something. And he would never bring it up right away. Ever. He'd usually wait a minute or two or three and just kind of either watch the show that I was watching or watching whatever I was doing on the Xbox. Then he would bring it up. So, this wasn't like me and him hanging out. This was like, him coming down to say goodnight. But, the conversations that could be had in 5 minutes would take half an hour sometimes. It's crazy. It's borderline psychotic. And I actually asked him about it one time. I think we were getting in an argument about something. And I was like, you don't want to know why I don't like talking to you? It's because you take 5 minutes to fucking respond to everything I say. It's like, Dad, we could have had this conversation in 8 minutes. It took us an hour. And his fucking smart ass, he was like, he like smirked. He was like, God, I forgot what I was going to Google. God damn it. Shit. It'll come back to me. It always does. Eventually. But he just smirked and he was like, you know why I do that? Because the silence, it makes you think about what you said. It makes you think about your answer or your response. So imagine trying to have a conversation with a man who does that after everything you say. Except sometimes it would be twice as long. Just silence. To the point where like I would get like anxious and annoyed. Like, dude, what do you want, man? Like, what are we doing here? I'm trying to jerk off, Dad. I don't want to have a dead air contest. Like, it's like a game of chicken with awkward silence. So, yeah. And no, that's not like the only weird thing that's happened. That feels like a dream, but it's like the one and only, it's pretty much one of the only things that actually went exactly how I wanted it to go, exactly when I wanted it to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I thought in my head it'd be nice if there was a rock in there, and then 2 minutes later there's a fucking like gram. And pretty much all my other thoughts, or I mean, for the most part, there's been a few sporadic ones here and there, ones that don't really benefit me, that are just kind of weird. And like, I mean, they don't really, sometimes some of them don't benefit anybody, if you know what I mean. Literally making people disappear from existence with mere thought. Who are out driving their cars, I swear to God. I've done it at least 8 times, probably closer to 20. The one that I remember most vividly, I didn't even try to do it or think about it when it happened. And no, I'm not hallucinating, okay? Because half of these things have happened when I'm stone cold sober. So, oh, but he's psychosis or whatever. No. Nope. No. Just no. Just save it. You know what I mean? Save yourself the time and the mental fucking hoops that you'll have to jump through. If you're somebody that cares about me, I understand why you would like in your head you'd be like, oh no, like Hayden's losing his shit. Yeah. Somehow I'm more sane than everybody in my life, I feel like. That's because I notice everything. That's because I remember everything. And that's because I have the mental fucking discipline to not just spew every fucking like weird thought that enters my head that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I've witnessed people in my life just say shit like every day. Just like say shit that like God, my old self, knows is gonna like get at me or make me anxious or piss me off, or it used to. Something about my life. Just like sometimes it'll be just one word. And it's like, do you not, as a human being in this world, because that's what we are, do you not have like the mental fucking discipline to just like not say that like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's so like it makes my fucking brain melt. Like I can't imagine just like being out in public and like seeing somebody and being like blah 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 blah. I gotta say this right now. Blah. It's like holy shit. At first I thought it was people fucking with me and trying to like. I thought everybody was in on trying to cancel me or whatever. Because I pissed off the wrong person. And if that may be true now, good. You're going to regret it. Yeah. I ain't afraid of nothing. No, fear and worry are, yeah, I touched on this earlier. Fear and worry, although to the outside viewer who can read a mind like extremely well, it may seem like the same thing, but it's not. Not at all. Fear and paranoia are pretty intertwined and similar. Oh yeah, I was going to look up a definition of a word. Anyways, let's just do that for fun right now. Fear. Oh, you need to read your journal on the podcast. That's like a constant conversation topic, at least in the last few days and weeks from the internet. Do it right now. Do your pod. First it was do the podcast. For months it was just do the podcast episode. The 3-hour episode. Which I should have done a long time ago. That's on me. Because I've touched on that earlier too. This is what I mean when I refer to as like compartmentalization of my thoughts and my like previous things that I've thought about. Because I already touched on all that word for word in the episode earlier. So I'm not going to do it again. You know what I mean? Go back and listen to it. Like I already know my thoughts on it. So that's what I mean in terms of compartmentalization. Plus also, I do forget some things, like certain words or topics that I haven't thought that much about. But I've also, when I look back on my life and I do the math, I've smacked my head into a hard surface, whether it be concrete, ice, like inches thick of ice, a steel beam, any of the number of times I got hit playing football, wood. You know, I banged my head around a lot. I fell down on the corner of a wood, very sharp corner, wood stairs in a garage. I fell right on my eye. And there's definitely, you know, I don't need sympathy from anybody. But there's a decent sized bump in my eye socket. But it's like it's not in the front. It's like, you know, I can't feel the entire bump is what I'm saying. It's in the top right, the right eye socket, right on the inside by the nose. And you can feel it. I can feel it right there. That's right where I fell. but I can't feel the entire thing. So it probably is bigger than I think. You know, the further you go back in the socket, the closer you get to the brain. So I think it's a tumor. You know, I'm not a doctor. Well, actually, I'm partially licensed in the practice of law, or whatever, doctorate. 69ing. So, I kind of am a doctor, I guess. I'm also a magician, yeah. I mean, I made something appear out of thin air with my own thoughts. And yeah, that's right, the cop car downtown. Boom, like that. But yeah, yeah. Very scatterbrained, but it all kind of makes sense in my head. So I was doing an Uber Eats delivery. When was this? October? Yeah, October. Might have been the very end of September. End of September, beginning of October of 2023. I was at, God, what is that fucking building called? Just to give you a layout of the land, put you in the, literally in my eyes, which is also possible. I touched on that earlier, in one of the earlier episodes. So you should probably listen to them in order, because I'll be doing that a lot, I'm guessing. This building, yeah, it's on, what fucking street is it on? Okay. Anybody ever heard of Gambit Brewing Company? Gambit? Probably not. Or maybe you have. Or maybe you think you have. Yeah, I think it was. Nope, not there. Yeah, so it was on Cedar Street, of course, which may have changed. It may have been a different street at the time. Those kind of things happen here in this world. Just an FYI. Yeah, the Crown Plot. No. That wasn't it either. It wasn't on Cedar Street. Huh. Yeah, you see what I mean, though? This is what I'm talking about. Walden Security. Walden, like the Black Mirror episode. I wonder if there's any coincidence there. And for those of you who are like concerned about whatever my state of mind, let me reassure you, I have never been more sure about something and more sane, probably in my entire life. So just save it. Save yourself the hassle, save yourself the time. Unless you're genuinely concerned, you got my fucking cell phone number is 763-242-4788. You can express your concern with me there. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and leave me alone. That's, I was about to say, it's kind of surprising. It's odd that I can't find the apartment building. It's fucking downtown St. Paul, right by Kellogg. It's one of the apartment buildings. If you're driving towards the river, away from downtown, like right on the edge of that fucking, where it overlooks the river and shit, where it overlooks South St. Paul and South. So it's the apartment, one of those apartment buildings right there, right on the corner of Kellogg, and the street is, oh yeah, it's a two-way street. Anyways, who fucking cares? Yeah. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? What am I doing? It's right there, you know what I mean? It's in between the two bridges. The one with all the flags and the 55 bridge. It's that big fucking, I think it's 1111, something like that. And I was doing an Uber Eats delivery. That took way too long, but if you don't like it, leave. Don't listen. You understand? I don't care. I'm not. I have zero interest in doing anything to please anybody. Truly. I mean, yeah, maybe my family or whatever, but they're kind of schmucks anyways. Just kidding, family. I love you guys so much. You guys are the best. Best family I think anybody could ever have. And thank you for listening to the podcast. Tell your friends and other family about it if you know, like the in-laws. I'm joshing around here, all right? You know what I mean? You don't need to take everything I say so seriously. But also, you do. You know what I mean? I know you can probably tell. But whenever I rip on the family, it's all love, you know? I would expect them to literally think I'm a schizophrenic lunatic. And that's, you know, Because it's funny to imagine me just like sitting here thinking all these fucking crazy things alone in a room, a dark room. It could be darker, but with pretty good audio, actually. This microphone is pretty good. I'm just kind of going at my own pace because the voice in my head, who's, yeah, it's a whole nother fucking conversation topic. Imagine being on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean and this voice, you know, I touch on it in all the journals. That's why I'm debating even going into it right now, because I don't really like repeating myself. And I know that I don't really like listening to people repeat stories, or, you know what I mean? But yeah, so the voice in my head, since I made that fucking rock appear, I had this idea, like, in the simulation coma dream. You would think that since it's my coma dream and it's my ideas that kind of invented and made you exist, voice. Yeah, that's right. Don't forget that. I thought, you know what? Let's just pretend that this voice is like my conscious or my subconscious, kind of. I did this same thing with the fucking podcasters and the internet. When I came up with this idea, and it was not a thought insertion or an idea that wasn't mine. No, I thought of this on my own. I do know that. But I basically just had this theory of a simulation inside of my coma dream. Well, not my coma dream, because we're not in my head. This is what people don't really get. I've noticed a common reoccurring topic brought up. This is one of the other things that people like to say in public. Usually mumbling under their breath so incoherently and pussy-like a passive little pussy. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what it sounds like to me most of the time. So speak up, people. I can't understand you. When you mumble under your breath, when you're walking away from me like a pussy, say it loudly to my face. No, I'm not going to fucking like stab anybody, even though some of you probably should get a knife in the throat every once in a while. Especially if you're a pussy who can't and I'm kind of a pussy too, but at least I have the balls and the spine to talk about this shit and put it out there, which I didn't for so long, but that's because who's going to listen to a podcast when you can literally just access my thoughts in my mind? It's kind of a reasonable, logical take. Personally, that's what I think. I mean, literally. So, anyways, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Who gives a shit? There it is again. That may be thought insertion or telepathy, or I'm just a fucking genius. We're going to go with the latter. So the internet or whatever I'm listening to at the time basically is like, because I know they can see through my eyes and read my mind, see my future thoughts, see my future access all of my memories, all at the same time, all while having a conversation with another person they're podcasting with. That is so fucking insane to even like try to comprehend that. So this is all true, folks. All right. I know some of you are going to come up with excuses or it's the drugs. Stop lying to yourselves. And thought insertion, memory wiping. I don't really give a shit either way, personally, but it ain't a thing in my coma dream. Not anymore. So, whether it be the voice that loves to hear himself talk, I like ribbing him. But also, imagine hearing a voice. This is why I was listening to music and podcasts so much, like all day, every day, because I couldn't get a second of silence for like 2 years. Anytime I would stop listening to something, it was there. That kind of shit will make you go insane. It'll make you lose your fucking mind. Just to get some fucking silence. God forbid. It's a figure of speech. God. It's not meant to be taken literally. You gay faggot. Same as that. Not meant to be taken literally. But that goes without saying or thinking because I already knew all that. So like when I'm sitting here talking, every time there's silence, there it is. It's crazy that I'm not like ripping my hair out. And I'm actually kind of like pretty level-headed. Because that, man, I remember, yeah, I'll get into the theory in a fucking second. That's what the voice likes to do. It's like, no, you got to do this. You have to do that. You got to talk about this. You have to do that first. No, do that. No, you're a fucking retard. Bitch. Imagine that. Every second of every day, wherever you go, all day, for over 2 years. I'm sitting here in silence just to try to to give you time to think about that. And no, I don't give a shit who hears this or what you think. I'm not a middle school little girl who's concerned with the opinions of others. Neither is my littlest sister. Even though she's in middle school, she'll be starting high school next school year. And she's not concerned either. So if you are, here's a recommendation. Reevaluate your entire life, your entire thought process, everything about yourself. Take a deep, deep look in. Not out, in. after you try to imagine, like right there, that 2 seconds of silence, imagine oh, bitch, you fucked up. Pussy. No, you didn't. You got to talk about that. You have to do that first. Not for 2 seconds, for 2 years. God damn it. Whatever. Who cares? You can tell that this dip is too old. It's not very wet. My ex wouldn't know anything about that. I miss that fucking broad sometimes. And the other times I just want to fucking wring her neck. Mostly during intercourse, and yeah, trust me, she wants that too. She likes it. Have you imagined it? I know it may not seem all that bad. You're probably thinking, oh, it would just go away pretty quickly. Think again. It went away for a couple of months back in October. Back when I proved that it wasn't my actual neighbor. Because it sounds just like him. Once I proved, and I didn't write any of this down, so I don't remember exactly specifically what it was, but it doesn't matter. Because it was one of those things where I remember thinking, yeah, there's no way to disprove this. Like, disprove that it could still be my neighbor. So that's all that matters to me in terms of that specific topic. And once I proved that it wasn't actually him, I thought it was my neighbor. I touched on this in one of the earlier episodes. I thought my neighbor was part of the Illuminati shit leg. He shit his pants when he was taking a piss and left it there for almost 2 days. So I thought the Illuminati would even entertain like the possibility of that guy joining their group. So maybe I am retarded, you know? But I thought that he, for a while, like had ties to the government and was part of, or was able to access the fucking simulation. And that's why I would hear his voice everywhere I went. I thought that for like a year and a half. I thought it was actually him speaking to me through the simulation in some way. I don't know how that would even be possible. So it doesn't really sound like it could be, unless you were to link two people in the simulation telepathically. But even then, I know it ain't him. No, because it actually just most of the time it just responds. It repeats the thoughts that I have in my head right after I have them. So it's me. Yeah. But I remember that night in October, and I disproved that it was him, and I was like, I was screaming. I said, shut the fuck up. You're not real. Just fuck off or whatever. I don't remember exactly what I said. I know where I was, though, what I was doing that night. And after I did that, it was silent. Just nothing. I didn't hear a thing. Like, I actually teared up because I was so happy. I didn't cry, but I would like literally teared up because I was like, it was like nothing I've ever experienced in my life, truly. It's like, it was probably similar to the same feeling Tom Hanks felt when they found him on the island. Just like joy and peace. Because I know it may not seem like that big a deal at all, but when you don't have silence, even for a couple of seconds, for 18 months, I swear to God, like you go insane. You lose your fucking mind. Or I did, I should say. It was bliss. It was ecstasy. That I teared up from being so happy. Which has not happened very often. Like, at all. I can't remember another time where that has happened. Honestly. Tearing up from being genuinely, like, happy. And at peace, finally. It was like, oh my God, is that silence? Oh my God. It was like this weight was just lifted off my shoulders. that moment very, very, very well. And I still don't even know. Like, go to work. You know what I mean? That's why I came up with that idea right there. Anyways, I'm going to take a pause because I'm feeling tired or whatever. I just want to sit in silence for a bit. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So, something I'd like to touch on real quickly. My psychiatrist finally filled out my Adderall prescription. And yeah, so I took a little bit more than prescribed. I am fucking very high right now. And by the way, you know, to all the family members who are going to be like, what the fuck, Aiden? It's comedy or whatever, you know what I mean? Or maybe it's not. Who gives a shit? It's you know, you're focusing on the wrong aspect. I made something appear out of thin air. Yeah, like for real. Have you ever done that? Probably not. So, you know, before you start throwing judgments around and I'll start accusing me of being like, sorry, I'm really high right now. Which is fine. This is America, folks. And where was I going with that one? You know, I was reminded today. Why I started isolating more a while ago, or whenever. I don't know when I started isolating like that, but I think it was when I realized that some people are not really cool. They're not that cool sometimes. Anyways, how long are we going here? 2,500 bars. All right, I want to start another episode and I'll do the journals on that one. And, you know, because I'm kind of going blind. Like, my vision is getting fucked up. So, yeah, I walked to the gas station this morning when it was still dark out, and the street lights were radiating light. Like, you know how you see the street light? But around the street light was just like these static lines of wavy light for like feet and feet all around the lights. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Ever. It looked like, you know, it kind of looked like a lion's mane. You know, how it all sticks out around the head of a male lion. That's kind of what it looked like. Yeah. That's, you know, that coupled with, like, you know, when you stare at the tar, the street, when it's, like, really hot out in the summer, and the fucking heat is, like, evaporating, or not evaporating because it's not liquid, but, you know, it looks like the ground is about to explode. Well, that's what it's, you know, it's been starting to look like with my vision. And based on my research of coma dream patients or coma patients, any kind of coma really, some of them don't remember any dreams at all. Some of them never dreamed or whatever. They just remember being stuck in their body, just blackness, being stuck. And about a week or two ago, I noticed my vision was getting blurry. Every time I sleep, it gets more blurry. So I went to the computer, did some research, and I can't remember what exactly this person said, but they basically said that well, there's many people that just talk about, like, hearing things around them, but seeing blackness, and eventually they kind of realize that they're, like, in a coma, but they can't move, they can't do anything. It's just black. They're blind, really. God, that would be the worst. So I guess it could be worse. But, you know, I've read a while ago that those ones they're not usually as long of comas. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about sometimes, but I do know that for sure. I read that in an article, and the internet is all facts everywhere. There's not any lies or bullshit at all. I mean, everything. Especially Wikipedia. The people who edit the stuff on Wikipedia are human beings, and they're always right too. Anyways, folks, if you want to buy some Pokemon cards, yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to do, like, an interview with a Stephen C. Meyer. If you hear this, Stephen, Mr. Meyer, reach out to me. I saw you on Joe Rogan almost a year ago, and I'd really like to sit down and chat with you about a few various things. Give me an email, and I promise that episode 4 will be, well, episode 5 technically, whatever, will be I'm going to start reading the journals now or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. They're kind of gay though. That's my only issue with them. But it's just me stating, like, facts or whatever that happened in my life experiences. Can you imagine if, like, Christopher Columbus or Adolf Hitler or Michael Jackson didn't journal their thoughts? It's, you know what I mean? We're missing out on a key part of history there. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel good right now. I hope everybody's having a good time. A good time is a real good and bad and kind of mediocre, But I can't find my prescriptions. And I lost my Mega Million ticket. So which, I mean, I know it's $2 or whatever, but I swear to God, this one feels like mama's gonna be rich or whatever. I mean, yeah. Anyways, I just droned on, you know. I honestly like talking into a microphone. And I just go on and on and on and on and on and on. And over and over and over and over again. And over Minnesota. All right, folks. Thanks.